Are we ready? Should we start? Yep. No, these ladies need more time. We are about to finish the book of Shemot, believe it or not. We are one parasha before the end, Parashat Vayakhel, and Be'ezrat Hashem next week is Parashat Pikudei. Whenever we don't have two Adars, these two parashiot are read together, Vayakhel and Pikudei. But now we're reading one by one. It's Vayakhel. So our parasha has a lot of repetition. Of repetition of what? Of what we saw in the previous parashiot in regards to all what Hashem commanded Moshe to tell Bnei Israel to build the Mishkan. All the descriptions of what to do, how to build, how the menorah should be, how the Aron should be, how the Mizbeach should be, the curtains, everything. So Hashem told Moshe. Now it's Moshe telling the people of Israel, and they doing it. They actually doing what Hashem requested from them. That's why I decided to devote part of our class on understanding the positive sides of Shmirat Shabbat, of keeping Shabbat. And I'm going to explain to you why and what do I mean by that. So let's start the parasha and see how it begins. Vayakhel, the word, the name of the parasha, Vayakhel, comes from the word kahal. What does it mean, kahal? To congregate, right? To congregation. So our parasha speaks about how Moshe Rabbeinu is, I'm just accepting people, sorry. How Moshe Rabbeinu is gathering all of Bnei Israel, Vayomer Alehem. I am on page 517. Yes? Moshe assembled the entire assembly of the children of Israel and said to them, these are the things that Hashem commanded to do them. And he's going to come and speak about the Mishkan. But oh surprise, what is the first thing that Moshe tells them? On 6 days, work may be done, but the 7th day shall be holy for you, a day of complete rest for Hashem. Whoever does work on it shall be put to death. What is the mitzvah that Moshe is repeating again, as we saw last week in Parashat Kitisa, as we saw that it came in the 10 Commandments, as we saw that was mentioned in regards to the man, as we saw that it was mentioned also whenever they have to find water in the desert in Mei Mara. What is the mitzvah that repeats itself over and over again? Shabbat. See how important it is, how basic is the mitzvah of Shabbat, that when Moshe is coming to tell Bnei Israel about the Mishkan, he's again repeating it. And this part of my class is very much inspired by the class that I heard from Sivan Rav Meir. She says, the mitzvah doesn't say only, Ubayom HaShvi'i yeh lachem kodesh, Shabbat Shabbatot Lashem. The mitzvah starts by telling us, Sheshet Yamim Ta'aseh Melacha. 6 days, you should be productive. You should be doing something with your life. This is what we are in this world for. This is the world of action, either in the learning arena, in the building arena, in whatever talents Hashem gave you. You need to use them. Sheshet Yamim Ta'aseh Melacha. 6 days are for you to do, to act, to build, to improve my world, to give to others. So, but then it continues, Ubayom HaShevi'i, yeh lachem kodesh, Shabbat Shabbaton Lashem, kol ha'oseh melacha bo yumat. So it's a day of holiness, the 7th day, and there is a prohibition to make melacha. Now, what is melacha? What is melacha? Okay, very good. So Chachamim learn from the juxtaposition, from the fact that the mitzvah of Shabbat is coming now together with the building of the Mishkan, they learn from here the definition of the melachot for the that are forbidden on Shabbat. And they say every melacha that was mentioned in the building of the Mishkan is going to be a melacha that is forbidden to do on Shabbat. Melacha means, how would you translate melacha? Work, okay. But that's a translation that is tricky, that can confuse us, because can you work on Shabbat? My husband works on Shabbat. Sometimes I do work on Shabbat. Every woman works on Shabbat, don't you? Sometimes I feel my Shabbat is the hardest work of all. Like really all what we have to prepare, and if we have guests and doing, or imagine you have a party on Shabbat, or imagine you need chairs and you need to bring chairs from the second floor to the main floor and going up and down and do, this is work. So it's a very tricky, that brought to a lot of confusion in regards to what it means to keep Shabbat. It's not exactly physical work as we understand it. Yes, Shmirat Shabbat, keeping Shabbat, will involve stopping from many of the actions that we do in our work, but it's not by the effort that is defined, it's more by the creativity, it's by creating something new. For example, what is more work, to go up 20 floors or to push the button of the elevator? What is more work? Of course, going up the stairs, but going up the stairs we are allowed. Pushing the button of the elevator that create all this, electricity and the light, I don't want to go into that. That's forbidden. I cannot, what else? Examples. What other examples that you cannot do and you can do on Shabbat? That is work as opposed to not work. Walking. Sometimes sitting in a car is much less work than walking for an hour, especially if it's going to be hills or it's going to be with children. It's going to be, so it's deeper than that. It's not so simple. It's not just, we're not allowed to work. We are allowed to work, but what type of work are we allowed to work? Anyways, technically speaking, our rabbis understood that the definition of the melachot, of the actions that are forbidden in Shabbat, are learned from the actions that were involved in the building of the Mishkan. To give you examples that you don't even know, do you know that we are not allowed on Shabbat to make ourselves bleed? Do you know that? Why? What does it have to do with the Mishkan? It has to do with the korbanot, with the shchita of the animals, with the bringing out blood on the animals. So look, what are the connection? Like brushing my teeth and being careful that I don't bleed is connected to the fact that they were offering korbanot in the Bet HaMikdash. Or you know that we are all depending on an eruv, right? To be able to carry outside. So imagine there is not eruv. That's how I lived my first years of raising children. I couldn't leave my house on Shabbat. I had to, because I had little babies, I had strollers. Some people even here don't do that. So what does it have to do with the Mishkan? So it has to do also with the boundaries, with the limits, if you can go outside of it or not. There is many technical details to learn, but I just want you to realize that the forbidden things on Shabbat are not always related with physical effort, with physical work. Okay, they are learned from the Mishkan. Before I go more into details about Shabbat, something beautiful again that I learned from Sivan Rav Meir. She says here, last parasha was Parashat Kitisa, right? We all felt a little bit embarrassed, ashamed of the way Am Yisrael behaved. What did Am Yisrael do? They gathered together. They came together for what? To build the golden calf, to sin against Hashem, to do Avodah Zarah. In this parasha, Moshe Rabbeinu is gathering them together to build the Mishkan, to do Dvar Hashem, to fulfill the word of Hashem. So she was bringing a beautiful process of thinking how much we should always try to be part of groups that are to do good things. And speaking about social media, what happens in the life of our children? How often the group in the WhatsApp chat or whatever group is created uses that gathering to hurt others, to bully others. And how careful we need to be with this, because there is a power in the group. So we can gather together to do harm, to speak Lashon Hara, to cause pain to others, or we can gather together to do good, to build, to pray. You know, this is a little bit coming from the mystical world, and perhaps something that when I was growing up in Israel, and I come from a very observant family, and I was always in observant circles, we didn't know about this. Like I see it as a little bit of a new trend, but I understand the power of it. You know, gathering together 40 women to do a Parashat Vayakhel, to do Tehillim, the Shirah, anything that we do, we gather. I don't know if you will be able to open. Can you open from inside? Sometimes, you know, good. When we hear about people that are sick, creating this power of the gathering together to pray for them has a very, very powerful impact. So it's a good question to ask ourselves and for our children. When we become part of a group, of a kahal, when we do Vayakhel, what is the purpose of this gathering? Are we doing it for the sake? Can you please mute yourself, ladies? Can we do it for the sake of bringing good into the world, or destruction and pain? And I was thinking about it this morning. Well, I'm happy that Dana is here. Perhaps I have an idea, and I don't know how to bring it. I think it would be amazing to launch this idea in the community, and I see many people here that can help me with that. How about we would create a competition that we would launch to different and we would invite them. What can you bring to the community as a dore, as a group? Either a creative idea of chesed, or I don't know, a plan for tutoring for children, or or bringing reminders not to speak Lashon Hara, or sitting together every day, or speaking in our chat every day on halacha of Lashon Hara. Bring it as a project for the community. What do you think? Do you like it? Imagine you use your dore for this type of things. Doesn't matter. Whoever has a dore, use it for good.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Or it could be any group.
Any group.
Yeah.
Huh? Your WhatsApp chats. I don't know. I think it will work. Like, imagine if we go out there and ask for donors for things, for a raffle, and launch it as a project. Let's say now we are in Adar till, I don't know, how much time do we need for this? For Pesach or more time?
The person that has the best idea gets funding to make the idea happen.
Oh, funding for your idea. But it can be something amazing. But then, because every time I think about Dores and all the drama and problems that I hear, because people tell me sometimes that happen around them, I know that there is a lot of good things also. It's a beautiful thing. You have a group of friends and you have a place where you belong, but what happens with those that are out, whatever. But how about I don't think we can cancel the philosophy of the rest. I think it's good, but how about what we can change is really create the awareness that the purpose of us gathering together should be to bring good and to add things that can be beneficial for others, for the community. So I don't know, I threw it here and let's see let's see what happens. I have so many ideas that never happens anything. So, but I have here a lot of good people that can help you with that. Okay, so now, as I said, we have, before the Mishkan is mentioned again by Moshe, we have a repetition of the mitzvah of Shabbat. And we learn from here that the fact that is next to the Mishkan, the Melachot, are learned from the Mishkan. And we have how many? Chachamim say we have 40 chaser achat, 40 minus 1, which is 39 Melachot of Shabbat. That could be an interesting idea for a class to learn, the 39 prohibitions on Shabbat, that they involved also many details, many ramifications to them. Another thing that Am Israel could think, we are involved in the building of the Mishkan. This is something, such a holy endeavor. Like it's the house for Hashem. For sure, there is nothing wrong that we continue building during Shabbat. It's something of Kedusha. The same way I can do things of Kedusha on Shabbat, like we can come to shul, we can bring out the Torah, we can, many things that we think that for the sake of the holiness of Shabbat would be allowed. So Hashem is telling us, no, even for the Mishkan, Shabbat is Kadosh, Kadosh, Kodesh, Shabbat, Shabbaton, LaHashem, Kol ha'oseh melacha bo yumat. And it says here, whoever does work on it shall be put to death, which is a very strict punishment for whoever desecrates Shabbat. Now, there is a pasuk that has brought confusion in some groups of Am Israel, especially those that do not understand the importance of having a Torah shebe'al peh, the oral Torah. It says here, Lo teva'aru esh bechol moshvotechem beyom HaShabbat. You shall not kindle fire in any of your dwellings on the Shabbat day. What is the confusion? Do you know who were the Karaim? Karaites, they were a sect that they did understand the Torah only literally. You cannot, you don't need any support from the oral Torah to understand the Torah. And we know that that's impossible. To keep Tariag mitzvot, to keep the 613 mitzvot, we need the oral Torah for that. So they literally understood that you cannot have a fire in your homes on Shabbat. Therefore, no light, therefore, not hot food, therefore, nothing that will involve having a fire. When Chachamim explained to us that the prohibition involves turning on the fire on Shabbat itself for the purpose of cooking, any action that relates to cooking is allowed on Shabbat as opposed to when it's not forbidden. On Yom Tov, on Chag, that's the difference that we have between Shabbat and Yom Tov. So this is one of the psukim that shows us the importance of having the use of Torah shebe'al peh, of the oral Torah. Our rabbis will explain to us what was exactly the meaning of this pasuk. So now I'm going to do something different of what we do always. Again, the parasha will continue speaking and repeating things that we've seen. You are invited to read it and pay attention when you read on Shabbat. There is a description of how Bnei Israel have to do everything as was requested by Hashem. Now Moshe is telling Bnei Israel to do, oh, by the way, something beautiful. When Moshe describes what is needed, see what colorful request of trumot, of contributions. Look, Pasuk 5, take from yourself a portion for Hashem. Everyone whose heart motivates him shall bring it. It's more important your feelings than what you are materially bringing. As the gift for Hashem, gold, silver, copper, turquoise, purple, and scarlet wool, linen, goat hair, red dyed ram skins, tahash skins, acacia wood, oil for illumination, spices for the anointment oil and the aromatic incense, shoham stones, stones for the settings, for the ephod and the breastplate. And then there is more description of the different parts. But look what happened. Go to page 519. After Moshe did all the description of what they need, Pasuk 20, the entire assembly of the children of Israel left Moshe's presence. Okay, Moshe finished speaking, then they leave Moshe's presence, And 21, every man whose heart inspired him came, and everyone whose spirit motivated him of the work of the tent of meeting. So then there is a description of everything that they brought. Again, Pasuk 29, again, every man and woman whose heart motivated them to bring. The repetition of the heart is motivating. They were very enthusiastic to bring for Bnei Israel. And what happened? Look on page 521, Pasuk 4 on chapter 36, after Moshe told who are going to be those that build Betzalel, Aholiab. I'm not going into that now. Look, Pasuk 4. All the wise people came, those performing all the sacred work, each of them from his work that they were doing. And they said to Moshe, so what happened? When Israel, everyone is bringing whatever they have, whatever they want to bring. And there is the artisans with Betzalel and Aholiab at the head, and they start doing, okay, let's use these fabrics for the curtains. Let's use this gold for the menorah. Let's use, and they were using the materials that they were being brought by Bnei Israel. But now they come to Moshe and they say the dream of every community board. And they said to Moshe as follows, the people are bringing more than enough for the labor of the work that Hashem has commanded to perform. So the Moshe commanded that they proclaim throughout the camp saying, stop, don't bring more. You are bringing too much. Man and woman shall not do more work toward the gift for the sanctuary. And the people were restrained from bringing. They were bringing too much. They were so generous and no more was needed. So they were stopped from bringing. I think it's beautiful to read all of this because we have so many instances where we speak in a negative tone about the behavior of Am Israel. We made so many mistakes that whenever we behave, it's important to praise, to mention. Same thing we need to do with our children. There's so many times that we need to be telling them, why did you do that? Why? And all the rest passes like it's normal to behave. No, it's important to say it, to praise it, to mention it. Okay, so now I'm closing the Chumash, and I want to study with you a little bit. You did the class with us. I want to study with you a little bit of Ilchot Shabbat, of the Halachot of Shabbat, but not as regularly we know, and not as the first things that everybody that wants to become Shomer Shabbat hears. So imagine you're a normal person, you want to become Shomer Shabbat. What is the first thing you will do? Or you know that it involves to become Shomer Shabbat? Huh? No cell phones. What else? No car, no driving, no working, no electricity. No, forbidden, asur. Who is excited about starting becoming Shomer Shabbat? It's kind of difficult. The good news is that I can say without any doubt, I would say 95%, Baruch Hashem, of our community are Shomer Shabbat in a big extent. In many of the things that are supposed to be Shmirat Shabbat. It's good to know that what we do is a mitzvah. And it's good to know also where we can improve on the things that are positive, that are easy, that are not so much requiring from me to stop in doing something. And at the end, Be'ezrat Hashem, we will get also there. So Sivan Rav Meir also in her class brought the picture of an artistic piece of work. An artist in Israel, I don't remember the name, but he discovered Shabbat later on in life. And he made this piece of art, and the picture was about Kaf, Nun, and a sign of admiration. What is a Kaf Nun? Ken. That was the picture, Ken. But that Kaf and that Nun were drawn with many laws. Lamed Aleph. Lamed Aleph is law. What is law? No. 39 no. 39 no inside the Ken. And what the message is very clear. Like all these prohibitions are in order to create a big yes for us, a big yes, a day that is all positive and with good things. So I'm reading, and by the way, what I'm reading, I'm actually translating. You can find, for those that want to learn more about this, these are the books of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed, and they are called Peninei Halacha. The book about Shabbat is translated into English, and it's online. So if you write Peninei Halacha English Shabbat, you will find it, and chapter by chapter you can go and study. Okay, so I'm going to start. He's not Sephardi, he's Ashkenazi himself, but he brings both. Okay, so first he's going to speak about, we read a pasuk that says, 6 days you shall work, on the 7th day you shall stop, we said the melacha, the action. So he first starts speaking about the connection in the week between the 6 days and the Shabbat. There is a connection. And what is this connection? The days of the week and Shabbat are connected the same way that every person has a guf and a neshama, a body and a soul. That during the week there is a body and a soul. Shabbat is the soul, and the days of the week are the body. The same way that a person that has integrity, that has balance in his life, is a person that his soul and body are working in harmony. How? In the way that the body is receiving inspiration from the soul, and the body is giving the soul the ability to be able to express itself. Because if I neglect my body, my soul won't be able to express itself in this world. That's how the week is a week, there is a connection between Shabbat and the daily days of the week that are very strongly connection. During the week, we prepare all the necessities for Shabbat, physical necessities, like food, clothing, and during Shabbat, what we get for the week? Huh? Leftovers, yeah, but we're speaking about the neshama. So the Shabbat is giving us the spiritual energy and inspiration to continue the week. Okay, so how is this expressed? We don't only speak about Shabbat on Shabbat, we speak about Shabbat every day of the week. How? In the Bet HaMikdash, whenever the Leviim have to sing a song in the Bet HaMikdash, every day they would say, Hayom Yom Rishon B'Shabbat. Today is the first day for Shabbat. And then today is the second day for Shabbat, the third day for Shabbat. Like every day gets its meaning and significance in reference to Shabbat. Also, the names of the days of the week in Hebrew are Yom Rishon, the first day, the second day, the third day. So being first, second, or third are usually connected to the fact that there is a point of departure, which is the Shabbat. Okay? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm skipping, tells us in the Midrash, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu leMoshe. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told to Moshe, Matana tova yesh li bebet gnazai v'Shabbat shema. I have a very good gift in my Bet Gnazai, is in my treasury, in the place where I keep all my treasures. And what is the name? Shabbat. I remember one class that I attended, and this Rabbanit was saying, Hashem that owns everything, and he loves us as his special people, and he wants to give us a gift. When you have a favorite person and you want to give a gift, you're going to choose the best. So from all the gifts that he had, he chose to give us the Shabbat. And today, more than ever, we understand how much it's really an amazing gift, how much that gives to our life. Can you imagine your lives without Shabbat? Can you imagine? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like without Shabbat. It would be, I don't know, I don't think we would be able to survive it, or we would be like robots, one after the other. They tell us in Masechet Beitza, in the Gemara, Mesupar al Shammai Azaken. Shammai was one of our Chachamim. You remember Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. Shekol Yamav היה אוכל לכבוד Shabbat, that every day of his life, when he was eating, was in the honor of Shabbat. How can you be eating on Monday in the honor of Shabbat? Like if I go now and I buy myself, I don't know, a shawarma or a sushi or a pizza, am I eating that in the honor of Shabbat? No, I'm eating that for my pleasure in this moment. How was that? היה מוצא בהמה נאה, if he found a good animal, to do shchita and have a good barbecue and have a good piece of meat, he would point at it and he would say, wow, לכבוד Shabbat. זו לשבת. I'm going to keep it for Shabbat. מצא אחרת נאה ממנה, and then that was Sunday. On Monday, he found another one that was better than it. He would eat the first one and leave the other one for Shabbat, which means every day of the week, he was eating whatever he had appointed for Shabbat. Because when he found something better, only then he would eat it during the week. So I sometimes have told you, my dad he took it upon himself, and that I really saw it happening. Like he would see one day a beautiful, he loved buying fruits and vegetables. That was his hobby, I don't know. My mom didn't know what to do anymore with so many types of apples and pears and whatever. So he would see beautiful pears. Like once he made me stop in Buenos Aires, stop, I see from here in the car. He saw the beautiful fruits. He wanted to stop there to buy fruits for Shabbat. So he would buy them, but then the next day he would find something better, and let's eat those. Let's buy this for Shabbat. He really lived in that way. So that's how you live for Shabbat. So our Chachamim, what do they say? It's better to always keep the best for Shabbat. Today, there is almost not meaning to that because you can find everything in the supermarket every day of the week. Now, what do we do on Friday, on Yom HaShishi? On the Torah, it said, והיה ביום השישי, והכינו את אשר יביאו. This is in regards to the man. On Friday, they would prepare what they brought. כלומר, ביום השישי, צריכים להכין את צורכי השבת. From here, our חכמים learn that on Friday, we need to prepare whatever is needed for Shabbat. The same way, Bnei Israel in the desert were feeding themselves from the man that came down during the night, and immediately on Friday, they would go out to pick up the man for Shabbat. Also today, there is a mitzvah, listen to this, lehizdarez, to hurry up, to feel enthusiasm to do this. And leachin et tzorchei Shabbat miyad baboker yom shishi, to prepare the needs for Shabbat immediately in the morning on Friday. I have to make some reparations with my phone time. Like I spend so much time on Friday mornings on the phone, especially when you have relatives in Israel. So you need to speak with them before it becomes Shabbat. Why is that? It said in Shulchan Aruch, שישכים בבוקר של יום שישי. No, it's not the why, it's just a summary. But, and it's better, and this is something a little bit strange, I'm sure nobody knows this. It's better to do the shopping for Shabbat on Friday. It's better Friday than Thursday, because whatever you do on Friday, you can recognize that this is Lichvot Shabbat. But I will put it to our times, this was because in the times of Chachamim, if you bought something on Thursday, perhaps it wouldn't be as good and fresh as if you bought it on Friday. But still there is a recommendation. Even if we do all the shopping on Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, if you can, go on Friday and buy something. Buy something, Lichvot Shabbat, like a special fruit. Send somebody from home, not you. I wish I ordered. Yeah, you order something for delivery. Yeah, it doesn't say that delivery is not allowed. Delivery is allowed. Either delivery or sending the husband and making him be part of the Shabbat preparation of the children. What do you say? From where? Noir. Oh, from Noir. That's the best. Okay. That's beautiful. Okay. If everybody does it, I don't know if he's going to deliver on time. So don't give your advices. Okay, so here he kind of bring his advice to a practical level. He said, but if a family has two possibilities, to buy and to cook and to do everything on Friday, but then be very tired on Friday night, או לקנות את המאכלים במשך השבוע, or divide the work with planning and buy during the week and cook on Thursday in the afternoon and keep them fresh in the refrigerator, they're going to be as good for Shabbat. ולהיכנס לשבת נינוחים, and enter to Shabbat in a relaxed way, ברור שעדיף לקנות בימות השבוע לבשל ביום חמישי. Of course this is ideal and this is better, because the first mitzvah, or the most important mitzvah, היא לכבד את השבת ולענגה. All of what we are doing, the shopping and everything, is to honor the day, to honor the Shabbat, and to feel pleasure on this day. And that's why it's more important to be fresh and not so tired. And it all depends on each family and family in their lifestyle. But it's really better that even those that prepare and cook and buy before Friday, leave a little bit of your preparation for Friday, because you want to express on Friday את ההתכוננות לקראת כניסת שבת, your state of preparation in the honor of the Shabbat. Okay, I know, listen, in Israel it's very common. In Israel, they don't have Sunday, so Friday became the day of leisure, especially in the summer. People will go to the beach, people will go shopping, it's really the day to have fun. The bank is not open, many offices have closed, and it happens more and more. So I think for them, this is very much applicable. Okay, so you were extremely organized and you did everything on Thursday. I don't know, my mom taught us to set the table on Thursday night even, to have everything ready in advance. So yes, but leave something to do it on Shabbat. I had a friend that she used to have, let's say she would bake chalot in a big amount once a month and freeze them, but she would not bake them 100%. She would love taking them out on Friday and putting them in the oven. She told me, I want my children, when they come back from school, to smell the smell of chalot. She knew what she was talking. Okay? Yes.
The whole week revolves around Shabbat, because the first, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're preparing, buying, whatever you're doing, and then Shabbat is the bracha, and then the bracha of Shabbat extends until Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
You can see that in my refrigerator.
Yes.
Until Tuesday, there is leftovers from Shabbat, and from Wednesday, we already have all the ingredients for next Shabbat. That's exactly what we do. Okay. קניות לשבת, what to buy for Shabbat. All of this is coming from what the Navi Yeshayahu says, וקראת לשבת עונג. And you shall call the Shabbat a day of pleasure. שמצווה לענג את השבת is a mitzvah to make from Shabbat a day of enjoyment, of pleasure. אמרו חז"ל במסכת שבת, חכמים tell us in מסכת שבת, שכל המענג את השבת זוכה לדברים גדולים. That every person that מענג, you already understand what I mean, מענג את השבת, brings pleasure to Shabbat, has the reward of big things. נותנים לו נחלה ללא מצרים, he get a big portion in the world to come. ממלאים משאלות ליבו, his תפילות are answered. ניצול מחבלי משיח ומלחמת גוג ומגוג ומדינם של גיהינום. He saved from a lot of suffering that could come before the Mashiach arrives to the world. ואף זוכה לעשירות, and he's also going to be blessed with wealth. והטעם לזה, this is for a shiur, you know, when our חכמים tell us, he's going to be blessed with wealth. What does it mean? I'm going to have millions and millions, or perhaps I'm going to learn to be happy with what I have. So I just leave it on the side. Why? I love this part. משום שהחיים והברכה, because a good life and a blessing, תלויים בקשר שבין עולם החומר לעולם הרוח, are dependent on the correlation, on the relationship that exists between the world of materialism and the world of spirituality, because we're speaking about brachot and that affect our life in this world. And כשעולם החומר קשור לעולם שמעליו, הרי הוא מתחיה ומתברך נשושו. When this world when we are able, and this is what we Jewish people do all the time throughout the mitzvot, when we are able to connect this world with the spiritual realm that is much more away from us, כשעולם החומר קשור לעולם מעליו, הרי הוא מתחיה ומתברך בשורשו. וכשהוא מתרחק, okay, so he says, when you are able to connect it, this is bringing blessings to your world. And he brings a sentence that it really impacted me. He says, because when, I'm going to read from him, Adam Chai, what is a person that is alive? Definition of a person alive. Able to serve Hashem, but the definition or the status of that person is that the neshama is in his body, right? What is to be alive? Elohai, we say every morning when we thank Hashem, neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Hashem, that neshama that you put on me is pure. O modani lefanecha shechezarta bi nishmati. Thank you, Hashem, that you gave me back my neshama. That means I'm alive. Thank you, Hashem, another day, I'm alive. Now, what does it mean? If I totally cancel my neshama, if I totally disregard my neshama, if I don't feed my neshama, if I don't give expression to my neshama, I am like dead. Do you understand? To be alive means that your neshama is in your body. The more expression your neshama has, the more alive you are. And people don't realize. And I really have seen this, and I can think of examples in my mind of people that are depressed, that are down, that are really in a bad place. And once they bring to their life a little bit of more spirituality, they start going to a shiur, they start learning, they start keeping Shabbat, suddenly their life becomes better. They're happier. Why is that? Because your neshama is being fed. We're neglecting it. So Shabbat is that day. You know why we say Shabbat Shalom? Why do we say Shabbat Shalom? I heard something very nice. During the week, we live in a permanent fight. Who is fighting all the time? My body and my soul. My body wants to party. My soul wants to study. My body wants to sleep. My soul wants to go to tefillah. My body wants to speak Lashon Hara. My soul prefers to be studying Torah, whatever it is. We're always fighting. Now on Shabbat, it's very interesting that the way of keeping Shabbat is feeding my body as well. Like I'm living the spirituality of my neshama, but at the same time is by eating the best food, dressing the best clothing, resting, giving to my body what it needs. That's why we say Shabbat Shalom. There is harmony, there is shalom between body and soul. Okay? So how to make this Shabbat a very special day? Al yedei ma'achalim tovim u'meshubachim, using good and very, how you say meshubach? Improved, sophisticated food, gourmet food, I would say. שנפשו מתענגת בהם, that your soul is finding pleasure on that. כל אדם כפי יכולתו וכפי רגילותו במשך השבוע, and every person according to their possibilities. Which means you don't need to buy for Shabbat the most expensive things in the market, but you do need to buy an level up of what you do during the week. You need to improve. If during the week, let's say you only eat, I don't know, give me examples that are practical because if that person is not suffering. No, because some vegetarians, for them to eat meat is suffering. Yes. Oh, yes, I know, like at home it happens. People that don't eat meat or they do a vegetarian diet during the week, but on Shabbat, they say, Shabbat, don't speak about that with me. Shabbat is the day that you want to enjoy it more. And what happens if somebody is poor? Adam ani, שאין ביכולתו לקנות מאכלים משובחים, that cannot buy very expensive food, at least, לכל הפחות, יקנה דגים קטנים, should buy at least little fish, that in order for oneg Shabbat. And the most important thing is that the status of Shabbat would be recognized on your table, would be recognized. I remember we put a special tablecloth for Shabbat. And I remember once we bought one of these tablecloths, the plastic ones that are very nice, So we just bought it on a Monday, and I put it, and it was nice, it was new, so I wanted to leave it for Shabbat. My kids didn't let me. No, you cannot leave the same tablecloth for Shabbat. We need to do something. It doesn't feel like Shabbat. It has to feel different. It has to feel special for Shabbat. And you shouldn't be stingy on Otzaot Shabbat, on the expenses for Shabbat. It's better to be more, what would be another word instead of stingy? No, the opposite, more tight with your expenses during the rest of the week. Let's say, if you don't have enough money to buy the best piece of meat for Shabbat, by the way, this is a reality in Israel. I know families that they cannot allow themselves to eat beef during the week. So they would eat chicken during the week. And for Shabbat only they would buy beef, or they buy the cheapest piece during the week, and on Shabbat they will try to buy a better. Like Baruch Hashem, we are not so much used to these considerations. But also here, I know of families that they have a budget, and it's difficult. You have to make it last for the whole week. So it's better. Let's say during the week you say, okay, we're going to eat pasta, and I'm going to be putting aside to have more the feeling of that I can go and enjoy buying whatever I need to make my Shabbat a special day. ואמרו חז"ל, look at the brachot that Chachamim say, שכל פרנסתו של אדם קצובה לו מראש השנה ועד ראש השנה. The whole parnasa, the whole sustenance of the person is defined already from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. Let's say in heaven, they say, okay, this family are going to have this and this amount of money from this Rosh Hashanah till the next one. ועליו להיזהר, and then we need to be careful. חכמים advise us, שלא יוציא הוצאות מיותרות. Do not spend more than what you can, because you're going to use what Hashem has assigned you for the year. And then perhaps you can find yourself in a situation where you don't have enough. Let's say I decide I want to go on this cruise and I'm not thinking enough, well, that this is what we make, this is what we can spend. So Chaim tell us, be careful. You need to live with whatever Hashem is giving you. חוץ מהוצאות שבתות וימים טובים. With whatever we spend for Shabbat and ימים טובים and חגים, and הוצאות בניו לתלמוד תורה. And what you spend for your children's Jewish education, for your children being in a place where they can study Torah and be educated like Jews. שאם הוציא פחות, that if you spend on this less, פוחתים לו ממה שנקצב. They're going to actually make you have less, ואם מוסיף יותר, מוסיפים לו על קצבתו. And if he spends more on these causes, like enjoying Shabbat and Chagim and Torah study for your children, the bracha is going to come to us. Now, once I was teaching this, and people challenged me in the shiur, you are very good, everybody accepting it. Like, really, I'm going to show you that if I spend in a crazy way all the Shabbatot, I'm not going to make it in the end. When Chachamim tell us this type of things, is more teaching us an attitude, a way of life, not to go crazy and buy all of Everfresh, or Shop the Light, or who else is here in Greenwich, or any of the stores that we have. It's to really come with this spirit of simcha when I do otzaot for Shabbat. And again, I really saw that with my dad, Zichrono Livracha. The Lichvot Shabbat Kodesh, this is for Shabbat. Let's look at this fish, let's buy it for Shabbat. Like and without us realizing, we're going to convey this spirit and this attitude to our children. And that's how Shabbat becomes the day that everybody is looking forward. Because I know I used to do it, I don't remember anymore, but I see my daughter-in-law, even when she does, this is a good advice, even when she likes, I'm speaking about one of them, but I suppose everybody does it, even when she does all the shopping by herself without distractions from children, she would leave on purpose some things without buying. And she would go with the kids to choose the special yogurt for Shabbat, to choose the special snack, to choose the special fruit. And you make your children becoming part of this excitement and happiness before Shabbat. Okay? Then it speaks here more about what to do when somebody doesn't have, tzedakah, etc. I'm going to leave it. And one more thing, and with this we finish today. בגדי שבת, clothing for Shabbat. מצווה לכבד את השבת ומכבודה של השבת, שלא יהיה מלבושו בשבת כמלבושו בחול. Is a mitzvah to honor the Shabbat, and is the honor of the Shabbat. Like, how is this honoring the Shabbat? Yes, you're honoring the day. That your clothing, your uniform of the day is different from your clothing in the rest of the week. So it doesn't say here, is a mitzvah to get dressed for your guests. It doesn't say here, is a mitzvah to get dressed to come to shul. What does it say here? Is a mitzvah to get dressed to honor the Shabbat. Shabbat starts Friday before sunset and ends Shabbat after the onset of stars. So how do we translate this? When do I get dressed for Shabbat? How do I get dressed for Shabbat? When is Shabbat for me? Is Shabbat afternoon also Shabbat for me? I'm also careful of what I wear then. So let's see what it says here. Bigdei Shabbat, the clothing of Shabbat should be nicer, clean, and the poskim, the rabbis that make the halacha, wrote that is good. This is a little bit strict. That is in the same of the Ari, not to wear anything that wore in the week. No, I'm not going to say that. The clothing, the upper clothing should be special for Shabbat and Chagim, and what we wear underneath should be clean before Shabbat, okay? There is people, and this is a chumrah, there is a chumrah to also change your shoes for Shabbat. But in regards to the halacha, it refers only for clothing. Even if a person is alone at home on Shabbat, let's say you're alone, it happens. People are alone sometimes. At the end of life, one of the children are not home, one is already not here. Or it happened. I remember I had a friend once in Uruguay. We had rented a place for vacation. We were not going to be there on Shabbat. She had 7 children. She begged me, can I use your home for Shabbat? I said, yeah, you want to come with your? No, I want to go alone. She went alone, and then she told me, she was the rabbi's wife. She was a very smart woman. She knew when she needed her time. So she went by herself to spend Shabbat. She told me, I bought to myself 3 puzzles, and I brought a bunch of books, and this was my Gan Eden. So she was alone in good circumstances. So to be alone is not always bad. Sometimes it's good. So even if you are alone and nobody sees you, Shabbat shouldn't be your pajamas day. And if you want it to become your pajamas day, then what? Have a special Shabbat pajamas. That's okay. We can have a special Shabbat pajama. I'm going to be nice with you. I'm going to allow you to stay in pajama. But nice, huh? Oh, they have the Ashkenazi have the long Shabbat robe. I never. Okay. Sorry, I'm in Zoom. How will I erase this after that? It's a long time. Okay. Why? Because the clothing are not for people to see them, but lichvot Shabbat. And if a person is in a place that he does not have bigdei Shabbat, clothing for Shabbat, let's say you went on a trip and your suitcase didn't arrive with you. You arrived on, or a poor person that has only one, it doesn't exist in our time, but it used to be. In the Torah, we see that if you lend money, you cannot take his only robe. If he has one cloth, lefachot, at least try to make it pretty as you can in honor of Shabbat. And we are very creative. Put a flower, put a nice, brooch, or wear some jewelry on top. And it tells us in the Talmud Yerushalmi, in the Talmud, this rabbi, Rabbi Salmai, when he gave a shiur, he told every person should make a big effort to have 2 sets of clothing, one for every day and one for Shabbat. And his students came to him and told him, Rabbi, we are poor and we only have one. for Yom Chol and Shabbat. So he told them, "Af al pi chen, nevertheless, you need to do something to make your clothing look better before Shabbat." And it's very important, it's so important to honor the Shabbat with our clothing, that even אחד מ10 התקנות שתיקן עזרא הסופר, עוסקת בכיבוס הבגדים לשבת. So עזרא הסופר, Ezra came with Am Israel after the exile of Babel to rebuild the בית המקדש and society in Jerusalem, and he made some decrees, some תקנות, to teach us to have a good, to teach us to live a Jewish life. So one of the תקנות was חיבוס הבגדים לשבת. Do not forget to wash your לכבוד Shabbat, wash your clothing on Thursday. One is that you shouldn't wear on Shabbat your clothing that are not clean. Second, because in that time to wash clothing on Shabbat was so difficult, Ezra made a takana, a decree that we should do the washing of the clothing on Thursday and not on Friday. So in Friday, you want to be relaxed, preparing for Shabbat. Yes.
It's kind of like halakha we discussed, having nicer food or having nicer clothing. What would you line that up and say with importance compared to not doing malacha?
Okay, so I'm not Hashem. I don't know how he judges us, but I know that we say we received the 10 commandments twice. In one of the 10 commandments says, Shamor et Yom HaShabbat lekadesho. Shamor et Yom HaShabbat, I hope I'm not like, and the other one it says Zachor. Shamor, Lishmor Shabbat refers to don't. Be careful. Lishmor is to be careful not to transgress the day with all what is forbidden. Zachor, it means all the positive aspects of Shabbat. Zochrehu, we didn't get there. If everybody likes, I can take some of the parashat time and continue a little bit on the next weeks that come. Zochrehu, what is Zachor? Zochrehu badvarim hane'emarim al hayayin. Remember the Shabbat with the words that you say on a cup of wine, which is Kiddush and Avdalah. We will continue more, Be'ezrat Hashem. Thank you for listening and have a good week.